Now listen carefully and pay attention to every words. The world wants you weak. Stoicism will make you dangerous. There is a reason the modern world fears silence. There is a reason people panic when they are alone with their thoughts. There is a reason discipline feels almost illegal in a world addicted to distraction. Because a man who controls his mind cannot be controlled by society, and that is dangerous. Most people today wake up already defeated. Before their feet even touch the floor, they surrender their attention to notifications, opinions, chaos, fear, envy, lust, comparison, and noise. Their mind no longer belongs to them. It belongs to the algorithm. It belongs to strangers. It belongs to impulses. But the Stoics warned us about this thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Yet almost nobody realizes it, because strength has become rare. Weakness became normalized. Discipline became toxic. Emotional control became cold, and silence became uncomfortable. But listen carefully. The people who master themselves always rule the people who cannot. And today, I'm going to show you why Stoicism is becoming one of the most feared philosophies in the modern world. Not because it makes you emotionless, but because it makes you unbreakable. And by the end of this video, you may never look at yourself the same way again. If you're still watching right now, comment, "I refuse to stay weak." Because the moment you write those words, you declare war against your old self. The world profits from your distraction. The modern world does not reward peace. It rewards addiction. Think about it. Every app fights for your attention. Every platform wants your emotions. Every headline wants your outrage. Every temptation wants your discipline destroyed. Why? Because distracted people are easier to manipulate. A man addicted to pleasure becomes predictable. A woman addicted to validation becomes controllable. A society addicted to entertainment becomes weak. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus said, "If a person gave away your body to some passerby, you'd be furious. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along." That quote is terrifying today, because millions of people cannot sit alone for 10 minutes without escaping into stimulation. And the scariest part? Most don't even realize they're prisoners. They think freedom means doing whatever they feel. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Real freedom is mastering what controls you. That means controlling your emotions, controlling your reactions, controlling your urges, controlling your mind when chaos surrounds you. And that kind of control is rare today, which is exactly why it becomes powerful. Imagine being the calmest person in a room full of panic. Imagine being focused while everyone else is distracted. Imagine staying emotionally detached while others lose themselves in anger and validation. That's power, silent power. And the world cannot manipulate a person who no longer reacts emotionally to everything. So ask yourself honestly, what currently controls your life? Comfort, fear, validation, lust, distraction? Comment the one thing you are trying to conquer. Because awareness is the beginning of transformation. Pain is the gateway to power. Modern culture teaches people to escape pain. The Stoics taught people to face it. That is the difference. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort. They avoid rejection, avoid failure, avoid loneliness, avoid silence, avoid discipline. But every avoided struggle creates weakness. And eventually, that weakness becomes your prison. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Read that again. The obstacle is the path, not the enemy, not the punishment, the path. Pain is not always destroying you. Sometimes pain is revealing who you truly are. Think about your hardest moments, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the loneliness, the anxiety, the nights where nobody came to save you. Those moments either broke you or started forging you into someone stronger. And this is where most people fail. They wait for motivation. But Stoics never relied on motivation. They relied on discipline. Because motivation disappears when emotions change. Discipline remains even when emotions collapse. That's why disciplined people always outperform emotional people in the long run. A disciplined mind is terrifying because it cannot be bribed by comfort. Listen carefully. Your future is hidden inside the things you avoid, the workout you postpone, the conversation you fear, the responsibility you escape, the loneliness you numb with distraction. That is where your transformation lives. Not in comfort, not in endless pleasure, but in voluntary struggle. And maybe that's why so few people ever become extraordinary, because suffering scares them more than mediocrity. Stoicism makes you emotionally untouchable. One of the greatest forms of power is emotional control. Not suppressing emotions, mastering them. Today, people react to everything. A comment ruins their mood. A rejection destroys their confidence. A breakup destroys their identity. An insult controls their entire day. Why? Because their emotions control them. But the Stoics trained themselves differently. They understood something most people never learn. You cannot control external events, but you can control your response. That changes everything. Imagine somebody insults you. An emotional person explodes instantly. But a Stoic asks, why should another person control my peace? That is mastery. And when you stop reacting emotionally to everything, people lose power over you. Suddenly, criticism cannot break you. Rejection cannot destroy you. Failure cannot stop you. Because your inner world becomes stronger than external chaos. This is why Stoicism feels almost intimidating to modern society. A calm person is difficult to manipulate. A disciplined person is difficult to tempt. A self-aware person is difficult to deceive. And a person who no longer seeks validation becomes unstoppable. Most people are exhausted because they are constantly trying to control things outside themselves. Other people, outcomes, opinions, validation. But Stoicism says, control yourself instead. And your entire life changes. If this message hits you deeply, take 1 second and subscribe to Stoic Gateway. Because this channel is not about motivation. It's about transformation. And if even one sentence today changes your mindset, you owe it to yourself. to keep walking this path. The loneliness of becoming strong. Nobody talks about this part. The stronger you become, the more alone you may feel. Because growth separates you. When you stop gossiping, certain people disappear. When you become disciplined, lazy people feel uncomfortable around you. When you stop chasing validation, manipulative people lose access to you. And suddenly, you realize not everybody wants to see you evolve. That realization hurts, but it's necessary. Seneca once said, "As long as you live among humans, cultivate humanity." But humanity does not mean weakness. It means wisdom. And wisdom teaches you that not everybody deserves access to your energy. Some people only love the version of you they could control. The weak version. The distracted version. The insecure version. But the moment you become calm, disciplined, focused, and self-respecting, you become harder to manipulate. And some people hate that. So if you've recently felt isolated during your growth, understand this. You are not losing yourself. You are shedding versions of yourself that no longer fit your future. Transformation always feels lonely before it feels empowering. Remember that. The most dangerous person is the one who needs nothing. There is a terrifying kind of freedom that comes when you stop needing external approval. When you stop needing constant attention, constant entertainment, constant reassurance, constant validation. Because once you no longer need those things, nobody can use them against you. That is why Stoics trained themselves in simplicity. Not because they hated life, but because they refused to become slaves to comfort. Think about how powerful that mindset is today. A person who can enjoy silence in a noisy world. A person who can stay disciplined in a distracted world. A person who can remain calm in a chaotic world. That person becomes rare, and rare people shape history. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while practicing Stoicism. Not because Stoicism made him weak, because it made him impossible to mentally conquer. And maybe that's the real reason Stoicism is exploding again today. People are exhausted. Exhausted by fake lives, fake confidence, fake happiness, fake success. People crave something real again. And Stoicism is brutally real. It forces you to confront yourself, your ego, your fears, your excuses, your weakness. But on the other side of that confrontation is freedom. Finally, become the person they cannot break. One day, life will test you. Not gently, not fairly. You will lose people. You will face betrayal. You will experience failure, pain, confusion, loneliness. And in those moments, your mindset will determine whether you collapse or evolve. That is why Stoicism matters. Not as a trend, not as aesthetics, but as armor for the human soul. The world will continue trying to distract you, manipulate you, emotionally control you, but you do not have to participate. You can choose discipline. You can choose awareness. You can choose emotional mastery. You can choose inner peace over external chaos. And when you do, you become dangerous in the best possible way. Dangerous because fear no longer controls you. Dangerous because validation no longer controls you. Dangerous because comfort no longer controls you. You become the kind of person who walks through chaos without losing themselves. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself one question. Am I controlling my mind, or is the world controlling it for me? Because your answer to that question will shape your entire future. If you made it to the end of this video, comment, "Locked in." I want to see who's truly committed to transformation. And if you're ready to begin your journey deeper into Stoicism, subscribe to Stoic Gateway right now. Turn on notifications and join the movement of people choosing discipline over distraction. Also, for your free PDF and daily Stoic guide for a 7 days transformation, text "I am locked in" to The Stoic Path 33@gmail.com. Your transformation begins the moment you decide your mind belongs to you again. And remember, the strongest person in the room is usually the calmest one. I will see you on the inside. I am here to be your guide.